Hey friends, this is Callie. Thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you spending some time with me. I've got a fun spring card using lots of die cuts from Fawn, and so we are going to be doing lots of ink blending and die cutting today. To save some time, I've die cut all of the pieces off camera. First off, I have the Ladybug add-on from the Tiny Gift Box dies, and I'm going to make 2 ladybugs for my card, so I've cut everything so that I have enough pieces for 2 here, and I've got some backing pieces for the eyes and the mouth. So we're going to go ahead and put that together first. I'm adhering the backing for the eyes and the mouth, and then I'm going to create that frame for the face with the lower part of the body, which is black. And to give the cheeks a little bit of blush, instead of pulling out some dies from other Tiny Gift Box sets, I'm just going to use an R30 marker to add some dots for the blush. And then I'm going to adhere all the pieces together, and I'm going to leave off the wings because I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough room or how far I should spread out the wings, so I'm just going to leave that part for last. But once all of those pieces are put together, I can set them aside to work on the flowers. Something I love about Fawn is that a lot of their products coordinate. So these flowers are from the stitched flower frame, that large one, and then the smaller one is from the Reveal Wheel Circle add-on frame for the flower and sun. So I'm just using the flower. I've die cut lots of pieces here for the stems and leaves. And now what we're gonna do is just add some color by ink blending. I'm using Noble Fur ink, and I'm just gonna use my blending brush to apply some ink on the edges of the leaves and the stems. And I want to say that my card today is heavily inspired by Tammy Stark. I was looking at the product page for the stitched flower frame, and I love what she did with her card with these stitched flowers and tulips, as well as the ladybug die. So I was inspired to create something similar with my take on it. So I just wanted to give her the credit that she deserves for the inspiration on my card today. And I did ask her if I could make a similar card. So I am glad that she said yes so that I can create this and share with you. I also saw on the product page that Kay Miller used the Spiffy Speckles green patterned paper to layer her leaves. I loved that idea, so I'm using that on my card as well. So if you ever have a crafty block, just look at inspiration from other DT members, because I clearly got a lot from them today looking at the product page for the stitched flowers. Alright, so next we're going to work on these Reveal Wheel tulip dies. I've die cut them using some apricot cardstock, and I'm just ink blending with some Peachy Keen ink. And if you didn't notice on the sunflowers, I did the same thing. I adhered the frame with the centerpiece using some basic desk tape. You can cut out cardstock to hold the pieces together. I find it easier just to use desk tape. Now I'm adhering the flower stems to the flowers, and once I've done that, I'll set it aside to work on my card panel. And because all of the die cuts are so large today, I've decided to make a 5x7 card. So I've got a 5x7 card panel here that I'm going to ink blend the background with using Distress Oxide inks. The first color I used was Mowed Lawn. This color is Twisted Citron, and then I'm going to add Cracked Pistachio in the center. You definitely don't have to use this many colors for an ink blended background. Most of the time I use just 2 or 3. I just wanted a really bright contrast between the ground and the sky, so I'm using several shades of blue and greens. Alright, so now I'm working on peacock feathers, and then I'm going to go in at the very tip top and add some Mermaid Lagoon. And once I'm happy with my panel, I'm going to be splattering with some of that Mermaid Lagoon ink. I've been using the back side of my ink pad lids to blend the color onto my blending brushes. I find it a lot easier for cleanup purposes. So I am just going to use that extra ink now to apply some color, added some water to splatter some blue ink onto my card panel. And then I can just wipe that away with my stamp chamois when I'm done. Alright, so now I want to trim my card panel so that I can mat a card base, and I'm just going to trim off 1/4 inch off each side to mat a card base here before I apply some adhesive on the back and adhere that to my card base. After I've done that, we can go ahead and lay out all of our images or die cuts, and so we can plan out what our card's going to look like before everything gets adhered in place. I've got my ladybug there behind the flowers, and then I've got my ladybug at the bottom to kind of hide all those stems that are staggering in different heights. And so once I've got everything planned out, I can go ahead and adhere those wings where I want them to go. We want to create lots of dimension. So after I adhere these wings for the ladybug in the background, I'm going to adhere that directly to my card, as well as the larger flower and two of the tulips. And then we'll adhere the rest with foam adhesive to give it more dimension. So I'm using some liquid glue here for the images that I want in the background. And then for the images in the foreground, I'm going to use some foam adhesive and cutting them down to manageable sizes to fit the stems and the flowers to adhere them to my card. I'm going to trim that stem on this one flower so that it doesn't extend into the bottom of my card. So we ink blended a lot of leaves earlier. I obviously don't have a whole lot of room for leaves, but I'm going to manage to squeeze in a few. I'm going to use 3 big ones. I'm going to add one on the left, on the right, and one in the center, and then use at least one little one that I die cut earlier. I spent a lot of time die cutting before I started filming so that it could make the video process a little bit quicker. I'm just going to save all those extra pieces for a different project on another day. And so now we can work on our sentiment. I've got the simple wavy banners die that I've die cut first. It is a solid die, so you have to die cut before you stamp. So I've die cut my banner in black, and I've adhered the whole thing, including the negative, in my MISTI using some adhesive tape runner, and that'll just hold my cardstock in place so it doesn't move while I stamp using Versamark ink and then applying my embossing powder and heat setting my sentiment. Once I have my sentiment prepared, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my card using some foam adhesive for additional dimension. And that'll finish my card for today. Tammy used some really pretty jewels on her flowers, and so you can definitely add those or some white gel highlights. I just didn't think to do that before I stopped filming, so this is the end of my card. I hope you enjoyed my spring card. I hope you're looking forward to winter ending. I don't know about you, but it's been super cold here in the Midwest, so I'm looking forward to flowers blooming, and not that I'm looking forward to bugs, but gosh, all the pretty things are coming back and I'm looking forward to that. I've got 2 more videos linked here for you if you're interested in watching more. Thanks again for watching and have a great day, everyone. Bye!